When you want a cool, espresso-flavored treat but are sick of your usual iced or brewed coffee, frozen coffee may be the perfect solution. When you need a break from your routine, this dish is simple to make, tasty, and ideal. Coffee is a refreshing summer beverage that will quench your thirst and put a smile on your face. It is also great for cold mornings when you need a boost of energy. Art of chill frozen coffee to get through the day. Because if you have the required skills. We are talking about frozen coffee, the traditional caffeinated beverage for hot weather. Instead of being frozen, this one is mixed with ice. Some of you require coffee that is at least room temperature, if not cold. This recipe can be made in any flavor you want. To mix it up, use several coffee brewed Art of Chill frozen coffee varieties and creamer flavors. One of my go-to tricks is to use half of one coffee and half of another. Whatever your heart desires, including hazelnut, caramelized sugar, French vanilla flavor, and white chocolate. You may even substitute the caramel sauce for chocolate-flavored syrup. Recipe for simple frozen coffee. Learn simple frozen coffee ingredients. 1 serving of the coffee you like. A half cup or so of ice. 1 or 2 teaspoons of chocolate syrup. A half cup of whipped cream. Conditional creamer to your liking. Equipment: coffee maker, blender. Start by making coffee. Making the coffee is the most time-consuming part of this dish. You can prepare a cup precisely as you usually would, and the method will work perfectly. Still, because we are combining frozen coffee with iced and do not want the coffee to become reduced, we prefer to have our coffee slightly stronger. Please allow it to cool completely. It is recommended to let the coffee cool for at least 30 minutes before using it for a frozen drink. Otherwise, the glass will be ruined and unappetizing. Combine it as follows. If desired, combine the espresso, ice, whipped topping, chocolate sweetener, and creamer in the machine. Beat all the components until well combined and an airy, creamy texture is reached. Finally, savor. If you want to go all out, drizzle the melted chocolate syrup over the whipped topping before serving. Delicious! Advice strategies to get the most delicious frozen coffee, ice. You have been given specific instructions that specifically call for a lot of ice. The intended outcome is a light frozen beverage whose consistency lies somewhere between that of a smoothie and that of an ice cream cone. If you do not like how your frozen coffee turns out, experiment with the amount of ice you add. When its consistency is altered, you might be shocked at how drastically different its flavors are. Use more ice if you prefer a fine-grained appearance. Use less ice if you prefer a consistent behavior more akin to a smoothie. Being cautious is advised because adding more ice will also alter the flavor. Since we like to maintain a coffee to ice ratio held at 2:1, adjust the amount of coffee you use to maintain the proper balance and flavor. Since we prefer to maintain a coffee to ice ratio held at 2:1, adjust the amount of coffee you use to maintain the proper balance and flavor. It does not matter which coffee you use to make frozen coffee. We advise against using expensive coffee due to various factors. The delicate flavors in an Art of Chill frozen coffee. Pricey coffee will not be detectable when fluffy cream and chocolatey syrup are added. It is best to use a robust dark roast when making frozen coffee. Dark roasts typically have intense flavors that may overpower weaker flavors and prevent the overpowering of the coffee flavor. Iced coffee. Using cold brew rather than freshly brewed coffee is one of the most popular techniques for enhancing frozen coffee. Instead of making a hot cup of coffee, start using a cold brewed concentrate. Preparation takes a little more time, but it is worth it. When coffee is brewed cold, its natural sweetness is highlighted, which is perfect for a frozen coffee beverage. Our preferred method for preparing a cold beverage involves rising coffee using a 7-to-1 liquid for 16 hours at room temperature. Use coarse coffee grinds with caution when making cold brews. If you use pre-ground coffee, you run the risk of getting a harsh cup of coffee from over-extraction. A further benefit is the high level of concentration in cold brew. Using the 7-to-1 coffee proportion preparation advice, you will not have any trouble tasting coffee in your beverage. Be careful though, you should stick with regular coffee if you have a coffee allergy because dense cold brew contains more caffeine than that. What is the process for cold brew coffee? The beverage has become popular since large coffee companies like Starbucks began to offer it. After trying some cold brew coffee, many people who had never heard of it thought it was excellent and perfect for those hot summer days. It is essential to realize how iced coffee and cold brew are different. If you buy it, you should not assume the icy medicine is just regular coffee with ice added. Instead, cold brew is produced over a long period and under specific conditions, setting it apart from other coffee varieties. A cold brew is a coffee that has been brewed for between 12 and 24 hours. It uses explicitly warm or cool water. A mug of cold brew typically contains a mixture of half cold brew essence and half water. The result is a potent coffee concentrate that must be diluted with water to make it drinkable. Many coffee companies have created their line of cold brewed beverages. Depending on the cafe you visit, you might get a strong, robust flavor that is thick and deep, or you might get a more lemony and chocolatey taste. Regardless, many people find a cold brew to be energizing and flavorful. Description of iced coffee. Since the ancient times, people have appreciated iced coffee. Today's iced coffee drinks frequently combine processed beans, espresso, or coffee syrup with whipped cream and frozen cubes. To avoid tasting weak or washed down, it is typically brewed with a robust brew. However, once the ice cubes have melted completely, dilution is challenging to prevent. Your local coffee shop offers a variety of iced coffee choices, just like hot coffee. You can purchase plain iced coffee, which is just coffee with frozen cubes, or iced drinks like iced coffee, iced espresso, cappuccino on ice, Americano iced. Iced coffee, in particular, has grown in popularity since Starbucks introduced its mixed iced coffee beverage espresso drinks in the middle of the 1990s. The latter is a cross between an icy coffee and a frap. Wherever you go, there are a variety of flavors and toppings available for your iced coffee. Finale reflections. We sincerely hope you enjoyed learning how to make frozen coffee. When you are looking for something new, preparing, energizing, and an appreciated shift is easy. It is excellent any time of year when you are looking for something delectable. And it is especially significant during the sweltering summer months. It costs less than buying a similar beverage from a coffee shop and requires a food processor in addition to everyday household items. If you want to add an extra sweetness boost to your iced coffee, use cold brew instead of additional sugar unless you want a more indulgent treat. Enjoy your delicious, ice-cold coffee. This dish is so easy to make that you can make it whenever you want.